couple of weeks now since I showed you how to weave grapevine together to make a wreath. And as you can see, it is now all dried. And the wonderful thing about grapevine wreaths is you really don't need any wire, like floral wire or tape or anything. They just hold together once they dry. And I kind of created this natural loop here up at the top to do some hanging. It is not really a perfect oval, so I think I'm going to do a crescent moon kind of silk floral on it. And I also dried a bunch of my marigolds. I like to make sage and marigold bundles to just like sage the house after company, you know, that kind of thing. And so I have quite a few dried marigolds from the garden, and I think I am going to add those onto the wreath as well as the silk flowers. So it's just before Halloween here, and I have all my Halloween decor up, but I kind of like to change it out for Thanksgiving, do a little bit more of a wintry end of fall kind of schematic for my home. And so the aesthetic is definitely going to be Thanksgiving. I think I'm going to use some pheasant feathers and rich, bold jewel tone floral, dried flowers, that kind of a thing. So let's get started. The first thing I like to do before any gluing is kind of pick out my flowers and then map out the pattern that I'm going to do. And that way you can like switch things around easily because you haven't glued anything down yet. And it kind of gives you an idea of how it's going to look. And it's not permanent. I have huge bins filled with floral that I generally get from garage sales, Goodwill. Sometimes I spend the money at Michael's or Hobby Lobby. It really just depends. Oh, I actually see this. I'm gonna use this. It's like a pheasant feather for my wreath. Okay, so I'm not gonna bore you with my process of how I pick my flowers. I generally just think, okay, what is the color scheme I'm going for? It's Thanksgiving and the leaves are past their prime, so they're kind of golden and, you know, brown and deep rust color. The bright oranges and reds are gone, so I think I'm going to follow nature's lead and go with those more deep autumn colors, the brown, the deep gold, the rust, you know, the maroons. So I will not bore you with my process for picking out the flowers. I think I'm going to dig through my bins, find my floral, and then I will show you how I kind of arrange the floral on the wreath. Like I said, this one is not a perfect oval. You know, I made it, so nothing I do is ever perfect. And it's got this natural loop here at the top, which will be great for hanging. But because it is a little asymmetrical, I think I am going to do like a light floral up until this point where we'll get like a nice heavy bunch here and then taper off towards the top and then kind of leave this whole section sort of unencumbered. I've got my hot glue gun warmed up and ready to go. As you can see, it's a well-worn glue gun. I treat it like crap. And it's still so good to me. Anyway, so yes, my squirrel brain is telling me that it's time to pick out the floral. Then we'll do some arranging and definitely going to kind of go for that deep fall theme using feathers, the late autumn color combos, and the dried marigolds. Okay, I'll see you back here in a few. Okay, so you can see that I've been busy making a huge mess, getting ready to create this beautiful wreath. And I went through all of my floral and I kind of found the color scheme that I was looking for. And so I found these oak leaves. They're a bit ratty, but that's perfect for an outdoor wreath. And then we have sort of this taupey kind of cream color, this peachy orange that goes well with this kind of burnt umber. And then I have this sort of purpley kind of brown, which I think really accents the feathers. And I'm going to use this pile here. As you can see, I have some of the creamy brown, some of the kind of purplish brown, this sort of pinky kind of salmon color that goes with that flower, and then the kind of rust bucket that goes with the deeper oranges. And I really think that it's going to look beautiful. Got some raffia here on some old stems. I'll probably end up, tying bows at some point. Got a faux acorn. I'm going to use maybe some of these decorative things in there. We'll see. We have a lot to work with. So that is the floral that I've picked out for my wreath. And now I'm going to get down to business. Okay. So I am going to start gluing the wreath. But first, before I do any gluing, I'm actually going to create a pattern. So what I think I'm going to do first is leaves, and then on top of the leaves, I will layer the feathers, and then on top of the feathers, we'll go the silk floral and the dried beautiful marigolds just here and there, scattered throughout. So like I said, I really don't want to glue anything quite yet. I'm just going to be kind of figuring out the pattern that I want for the floral. So we're going to start by doing a base of leaves. These old, disgusting oak leaves that have been part of my collection are going to go on there, and I'm just going to kind of, let's see, do I want to pull them off and just glue them, or do I want to keep them on the stem? I really kind of like the stem look, but it's not conducive with the feathers. So I think I'm going to go ahead and just cut these off and then start placing them in a pattern. And I'm going to be mixing leaves. I'm going to be using some of the oak leaves, some of these like sagey green kind of colors, the purplish kind of colors, and then I found some really interesting long ones. Where did they go? Oh yeah, right here. I got lots of kind of brown into golden yellow. So yeah, going to do the base of leaves first and kind of map it out, then we'll glue them down. I'm back with my scissors. So I've decided to cut the oak leaves, and I'm just gonna do that right now. And the wonderful thing about this, cutting stuff off like this, I reuse the wire to make all kinds of wonderful crafts. So you can still get a lot of mileage out of silk floral even after you've cut all the floral off, because the stems can make wonderful things. You can paint them and put glitter on them and then arrange them in a vase, and then you have like a kind of crystally, wintry white type of branches. There's just all kinds of stuff. My fairy crowns that I make for dance and Renaissance festival. Yeah, so I don't know. I always seem to find something to do with these leftover stems. I don't feel guilty, and I never throw them out. All right. So we've cut our, let's see. This one has the one flower left on it. These are Hobby Lobby, by the way. I try not to spend too much money on floral. I generally pick them up at yard sales or Goodwill. But sometimes Hobby Lobby runs, you know, a sale and you can get a pretty good deal. Like this was originally $13.99, but I think I got it 50% off, so like $7 for a big, you know, bouquet. And I've used so much of this in my projects, it was well worth it. Well worth it. All right, so moving on from my little lecture on don't buy your flowers new. So I will be right back. I'm going to take a quick break, do some arranging, and then I'll get a close-up and show you kind of the pattern that I figured out for it. Okay. Okay, so we're back, and I've arranged the leaves in a pattern that I think looks nice. It is going to be really heavy on this side because the wreath is asymmetrical anyway, and it'll be tapered on the tops. And I kind of picked the leaves based on the colors and how they will coordinate with this pile of feathers here. And so I'm going to go ahead and hot glue gun these down into place. I have them arranged how I want. And so we'll go ahead and do that. And then when I come back, you will see the glued on leaves and feathers. And then we'll start to affix the silk floral in an arrangement that is conducive. And I really love these, you know, kind of peachy salmon, burnt orange, brown kind of colors. I think that looks amazing against the backdrop of the sage and the taupe and the purpley kind of brownish color. I'm liking it so far. So I have some of the feathers all glued on in between the foliage. And like I said, right here is going to be the big pop of floral, and then it will taper off. So yeah, I'm liking the feathers immersed into the fall foliage. Okay, so I have my wreath, and it's got all the foliage and feathers on it that I want. It's a little asymmetrical. I'm going to do a big flower here and then taper off onto the sides. So let's get started. I think the first thing I'm going to do is affix this big, beautiful, cream-colored peony. Ooh. And really put that in the heart here. Oh, that looks so lovely. I love it. Okay. So, da-da-da-da. I'm holding it down so that it really stays. That. Oh, it just looks really beautiful, I think, in my opinion. I'm really digging this. This is turning out better than I imagined. I love when that happens. Oh, maybe I have room to do another kind of feather here. Oh, yeah. So that's what I love is like once you get your basic pattern down, then you can like kind of identify areas that need to be filled in a little bit and just kind of fill in and make it look the way you want it. Oh, I have a little green leaf that I could definitely put right there to kind of continue the pattern. All right. And I generally have like leftovers. You have leftover leaves and leftover feathers. And I kind of leave them off. I think that simple and elegant is always better. I try to live my life that way. Simple and elegant in fashion, in home decor, just everything. Kind of on the simpler side. And yeah, so now I'm going to take these beautiful peachy kind of orangey florals and fill in as I see fit. Yeah, I think that looks really nice. Let's see. Yeah, I'm liking that. So I think I'm gonna go ahead and just start filling in around the perimeter of my big flower. And I just think it looks really nice if it all kind of like smushed together. It just creates this very full effect, and I don't know, I've always just kind of loved full bouquets and just making things kind of just delicious. All right, love that. So we're gonna do that. I don't know. I'm kind of thinking that looks really wonderful. Well, I crushed my flower a little bit. I have to spread that out. You might have to do a little bit of pulling apart because I really do want this to be open more. Yeah, like that. And it's okay to make mistakes. It's easy to just pull stuff apart. If you're like, oh, I don't really like that. The glue gun's pretty forgiving. Yeah, maybe we'll just leave it. So just go ahead and play with it. You know, if you find that you've glued something down and you're kind of like, just pull it out. Redo it. Like I said, I wanted this floral to really pop. So it was a little scrunched with the other flowers around it, so I just took it off. All right. When I come back, this will be a finished wreath, and we're gonna go and hang it up on our front door, ready for Thanksgiving. Huzzah! We are done. So this is the completed wreath for my Thanksgiving decor, and I think it turned out lovely. It's very rich and full in kind of this area, and then it tapers off, like I said many times before in this video, and it has the natural hanging part because I built that in when I was designing this grapevine wreath. So it should hang nicely from just a command hook on the front door. And I think I might even do like a little wooden sign that hangs down inside of it saying grateful. So that is the finished product. I really love the colors that I picked. The purple, brown, cream, burnt orange, and kind of salmon-y colors. They're very soft and late fall in my opinion. And look, I even put a little owly guy on there. I think that's so, just a cute little touch because we do have quite a bit of feathers. So it's sort of an homage to all of the feathers, I think, to have a cute little owl in there. Anyway, I am so pleased with how this turned out. Thank you for watching me create a grapevine wreath from scratch. I did not end up using my dried marigolds, but that's okay because I know that I will use them in other projects that I have coming up. So thanks again. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial and that you find your creative spark and go forth and make your own grapevine wreath for your home. Bye.